Okay.
Okay. Long ago, there was a young man, and he was very poor, and he didn't really feel he had very much luck in life. And so he decided to go to the temple to pray to Canaan, the goddess of mercy and kindness. And he said, I have nothing at all. Please help me. And the goddess said to him, when you leave the temple, you will fall and you will catch something. Take that with you and walk to the west. Well, he wasn't too sure what would happen, but when he walked out of the temple, he tripped and he fell, and his hand caught hold of some straw. But he did what the goddess said. After all, he'd prayed to her for advice, and so he did what the goddess had said. And he took the straw, just a couple of blades of straw, and he walked to the west. And as he was walking along, this buzzy fly started buzzing around him and around him. And in the end, he decided to catch the fly and put the fly on the end of the piece of straw, like you do. And so he walked along with his piece of straw and the little fly going buzz, 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 buzz. And as he walked and he walked, he eventually came across a woman with a baby. And the baby was a screaming and crying, and there was nothing to console this baby. And the mother tried everything, and he walked over to the mother and he waved the straw with the fly that was buzzing and buzzing. And the baby was attracted by this and momentarily, like babies do, stopped crying and looked up and started to play with the fly. And so the young man said, keep the straw with the fly, thinking to himself, I didn't really need it, and I'll just carry on walking to the west and see what happens. Well, the mother was very grateful and said to him, here, take these 3 oranges. It's all I have to give you, but maybe on your journey some oranges will be of use to you. And so he walked along and he walked and he thought, well, I've gone from straw to 3 oranges. 3 oranges are an improvement on the straw. And as he was walking, he came upon a young lady sitting by the side of the road, and she called out to him, please give me water. I'm so thirsty, give me water. And she was very beautiful, and he felt great sorrow for her that she was so thirsty, but he had no water, but he had 3 oranges. And so he gave her the 3 oranges. And she was most grateful to him and said, I have nothing to give you, but here, I have some silk fabric. I'll give you this piece of silk. And so she gave him the piece of silk. And so he walked on and he thought, well, I've gone from straw to 3 oranges to a piece of silk, so well, things are looking up a little bit. Things maybe are improving a little bit. And as he walked on, he came upon a soldier whose horse was lying down, obviously not well. It wasn't dying, but it clearly wasn't well. And he said to the soldier, your horse is not well. And he said, I know, and I needed to get to the market because I needed to buy a gift for my wife. And I wanted to buy her a gift, and I can't get there now because my horse is sick. And he said, well, why don't you walk to the market and I'll take care of the horse for you. The man thought about it. And then the young man said, I've got a better idea. I've got a piece of silk. It's something that somebody gave me, and I think it's new. And the soldier looked at it and said, this is beautiful. Maybe I could have this for my wife, and you can keep the horse. After all, the horse is very ill. It's probably going to die. So, I'll take the silk. You have the horse. Well, the young man took care of the horse. He found water for the horse, and he found food for it to eat, and the horse started to revive. And he rode on the horse this time. He's no longer walking. He's gone from straw to oranges to silk to a horse. And as he walks on, a landowner sees him and said, that's a fine horse. I would really appreciate having a fine horse like that. And the young man said, well, you could have it if you like. I could sell it to you. And the landowner said, well, why don't you come to my house for supper and we'll talk about it? And so they went to his house and he was made very welcome. And the young man's beautiful daughter walked in to serve them tea. And they looked at each other, the young man and the beautiful daughter, and you can probably guess, she was the young lady by the side of the road that he had given the oranges to. And she said to her father, this is the young man that saved me when I was so thirsty. He gave me the oranges. And to make a longer story, a shorter sweet one, they married. And when the old man eventually passed away, our not so young man now, because he'd moved on in years, had children, and he became the owner of the estate So from a piece of straw, he had become a very wealthy man. And there's a moral in that story, and I'm sure we can all think of the various morals from that story. So it was a little short and sweet one, and it's another one from the English language book that I often take my stories from.
Straw Millionaire.